Happy Saturday night. I know it's Friday, but I like to say happy Saturday night anyway. And it's every night is a Saturday night if you're willing to pretend like it's Saturday, right? Welcome to another edition of the Isolation Show. I know some of you are no longer isolated, but, and well, depending on your definition of isolated, I haven't ever been, right? Well, that's not true, but I do spend 10 or 12 hours a day shopping and dropping. Half of that time is amongst human beings, and yet feeling oh so isolated. Anyhow, I share only in case you are also feeling isolated, you can know you are not alone in feeling alone. All that said, I'm here to check in with my body, give myself a little loving attention, as I have and do, and I invite you to join me to whatever degree you feel like, if you do. It is hot out here. I believe it's still almost 90 degrees, even at 11:11 p.m. It hit over 100 today, and I think it might have hit 100 in the Head Hutt here because I didn't do any venting, so probably not downstairs, but yeah, up here my thermostat says 99 was the high it hit, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't go to 100, so that tells me it's pretty hot. Hot or not hot, it's a good time to check in with the body though, and I don't know about you, but heat kind of fries my brain and makes me a little loopy and lightheaded and not great at thinking. So let's just run through some moving. I'm going to take a couple breaths, focus on my sits bones and my spine. Sits bones, that's a fancy word for butt. The bones in your butt. Actually, you got to tilt your pelvis forward a little bit. So that would be back and then forward in order to get up on those sits bones. And then extend the spine up from there. I like to imagine that I'm hanging, my spine is hanging from like a hook or a knob somewhere out in the center of the universe. And then sometimes I attach like a weight or not like a heavy weight, but like a pendulum in my mind to the bottom of my spine to kind of stretch me out and keep me connected to the center of the universe and the center of the earth. That's just a visualization that I like. You're welcome to come up with any that you like. I'll start with some side bending over to the right. Obviously, I'm doing another seated session today because I don't really have full space in here yet for a standing session. And, seated's good. I do need to get off my butt because, we're going to the left. I sit a lot lately when I'm not standing and pushing. I'm standing and waiting. I'm sitting. Hopefully that's going to shift soon, and I will get back to some other things like rowing and digging and building and healing and pressing, pushing. Those are things I like to do, not just sitting. Anyway, just practicing some side to side because I'm feeling in my body. I've done a lot of back and forth and not much side to side. On that note, let's add a little spinal twist. I'm going to take my right hand on my left knee and then first take my left hand, give myself a pat on the sacrum, and then set that hand down real close to the butt, and then using this hand I'm going to twerk a little bit through, not twerk, torque through the pelvis, through the rib cage, and then with the eyes looking back behind that shoulder, Try not to crunch up in those shoulders. Really wringing out the organs. And then unwinding with the eyes, shoulders, torso. Shake that out a little bit and take left hand over to right knee, right hand on the sacrum and then down close to the body, and using the hands for some extra torque through the pelvis, through the rib cage. Lastly with the eyes, checking that I'm not crunching up in that shoulder. And giving those organs a nice wringing out. And then unwinding with the eyes, the shoulders, and the torso. Shake that out a little bit again. Yep, I want to do more side bending, but I need to stand up to do that. Let's just keep on the floor for now. I'm going to spread these legs out a little bit and do a little stretching with the legs. Those have been, did I mention sitting a lot? Starting with the forward fold, I'm really focusing on leading with the chin. You can use the hands on the legs wherever is comfortable, and bending from the hips here forward. And then I'm going to come over to the left side, really pressing that opposite right hip down on the ground. Coming straight over, imagining there's a flat plane here and looking a little bit for that straight line energy from that hip out the fingertips up here. And then curving that down, I'm going to twist the body, more of a forward fold over that left knee, still focused on pressing back down with that right hip. That's forehead toward knee, and then I'm going to again twist a little more with the torso, pulling that over this leg a little bit more, really folding from the hip here and pressing this hip here, leading with my chin again and pulling back with these toes a little bit to increase that stretch. And then I'm going to reverse that a little bit using this hand against that, can't really see, but I'm pressing with this hand against that foot to come back onto that side plane, over into a nice side stretch, pressing that opposite hip down, and then back up to center. Let's do the other side, pressing now with the left hip toward the floor, creasing from the hip over to the right, looking for that diagonal sensation from the hip out the fingertips. And then twisting a little bit, coming over that right leg. Got my sides crisscrossed for a second there. Pulling, letting the forehead drop toward the knee. And then pulling with the hands a little bit, more of a straight back, creasing from this hip and pressing with that left hip toward the ground, and pulling back with those toes, leading with the chin toward those toes for a nice forward fold over the right leg. Again, I'm going to collapse that forehead toward knee for a nice stretch. Just giving that a breath or so to unwind. And then I'm going to shift that back to the side plane, using that hand on the foot to press against, coming back to the side. Again, really focused on pressing that left hip down toward the floor, and then coming up to the center. Bounce these legs out, going forward. Let's do a little balancing. I haven't been doing my balancing. Pulling those legs up and sitting up on those sits bones. It's a nice playful way as well. Nice way to play. I can't speak today. My brain is officially fried from the heat. Anyhow, I like to alternate this by pressing with the feet and relaxing through the torso and the shoulders and getting a nice stretch through the shoulders there, and still playing with balance. And then I like to pull with my arms, kind of getting more of a stretch through the legs, pulling back in those toes, pulling up in the pelvis, and then keeping the abdomen and spine nice and long and strong together. And again, pressing with those toes, pulling back with the shoulders, letting the torso and the shoulders just kind of sag and relax while still trying to balance on the sits bones. Play around with that a little bit, tipping on the pelvis. One more time, pulling with the arms, pulling back with those toes. Getting a nice stretch through the legs. Bring those feet together into a butterfly stretch. Bringing palms of feet together, as I like to call them. Do a little clapping for fun. And then put those down as close to the body as comfortable. And you can do some flapping if that feels good, or if it doesn't feel good, then don't do it. I like to use my elbows on those legs to press a little bit more. A nice stretch through the inner thighs there. And kind of pulling on my feet, pulling my torso and chest forward through the elbows and pelvis. I'm going to bring those feet out just a couple inches and do that again. Again, pulling with the arms, pulling, using my feet just as a nice handle, basically, and pulling my chest and torso through the elbows past the hips there, and still pressing down with these knees. I instinctively want to bring those feet closer, but I'm trying to get a different stretch by bringing them out. I'm going to bring them out another couple inches, and again, pulling forward, pressing down. Remembering to breathe and smile. One more time and bring those feet out just a little bit more. Really shifting the stretch all along the hips here. Again, pressing down with those knees and pulling forward with these arms. Trying to be nice and long and strong through the abdomen and the spine. I'm going to bring those feet all the way forward. Let's do a little windshield wipering with the feet just to stretch in the hips here. You can go to one side and the other, or in and out. I like to just kind of play around with those femurs in the hip sockets there. I'm going to come on up into a squat position. Another one of my favorite play positions. Feet flat on the floor. And bring those elbows inside of the knees. And again, kind of pulling the torso forward through the pelvis. And pressing those heels onto the floor if possible. If not, that's okay. You can stay up on the toes as well. Again, using my elbows to kind of play with the stretch in the hips by pressing on the knees. I'm going to have to come onto hands and knees and do a little back stretching because my body needs that, I can tell. Start with hands behind the back and clasped, pulling those elbows towards each other. A nice back stretch just for counter. I am nice and stiff today. Feels good. And then coming up, I'm going to do a forward fold from the knees. And those hands up and over. Can't really bend from the hips so well from here because, you'll hit the floor. So I'm doing this with a rounded back, which is a little different. Feels good through the back there. A nice round stretch. Add to that by pulling up in the pelvis and up, back with the abdomen. Still rolling those elbows and shoulders towards each other. Gotta play with that, rolling them away and towards. Downward and down, and then come on up before my hands go completely asleep. Another counter stretch. Just pushing those hips forward, getting a nice stretch through the back here, and then coming up. Back to neutral. Let's do a little more work from the knees while we're here. I'm trying to figure out which is the best way to demonstrate. Come on, I'm going to actually bring my heels up a little higher by folding my toes under. I'm going to be reaching back for both of those heels with the hands and supporting the head with those shoulders a little bit, pushing those hips forward. Getting a nice stretch through the legs, through the hips. Coming on up. Let's bring that left leg forward and then bending that right leg. I gotta slide off that knee a little, but I got a blanket under there. It doesn't like to slide. Hold on. There we go. All right. Looking for a 90-degree angle in this front leg and try not to lean forward like I am so I can find my balance here. Do have to be careful with that knee, so usually if I'm on a slippery floor I just slide that back till it's comfortable. I'm using both hands with that foot to pull that foot up. And I'm going to adjust a little bit till I find a point of good balance and alignment, which I don't feel I have at the moment. Get a nice stretch through that leg though. Releasing with that left hand, I'm going to do a little visualization here. I like to imagine a condensed gold ball of light, love. It is the world that is my heart. And then I like to imagine a silver, soft, diffuse light, and look all around that light to see the back of my own head, past my fingertips with soft eyes, and then pulling that in, condensed, sharp. Increasing that stretch a little bit on the exhale, and then inhale, pulling everything in. Wow! Exhaling and letting everything go. I'm running right into the wall here. I'm going to release that leg and drop that foot. Come back where you can see me high. Extend those legs. I have just enough room in here. Get a little split-ish stretch. I just like to rock back and forth. Play with that stretch on the legs. I'm supporting my weight mostly on my hands here. And then sliding that front heel back, bending that leg, pulling that back leg forward, stand in a forward fold for a minute, and just hang here. Letting the head go. Go ahead and roll up from here. I'm going to get out a picture. So then I got to figure out how to get back down to the floor. Let's just come back down with a nice squat. Seems easy enough. Come back on the hands and knees. So I could do a little cat-cow while I'm here. It's a good stretch. Pressing with the hands and up from the hips, rounding the back, pulling up with the pelvis and up with the abdomen. and then releasing that, tilting the pelvis toward the back of the head, letting the belly just drop. You stick out the tongue if you want to add that. Try not to sink in those shoulders. And again, the cat, pulling up in the abdomen, tilting the pelvis around in the back. Again, cow, tilting tailbone toward back of head. And one more time, cat, pulling in the abdomen, rounding the spine, really pressing through those shoulders, tucking in the pelvis. Back to neutral, and then tilting to cow. And then come back to neutral, up on hands and knees, and then bring that right knee forward. Reaching back for that left knee, both hands first, finding a nice point of balance, sliding that knee back. Again, looking for a 90-degree angle on that front leg. That's just to not damage the knee by crunching past it. Find a point that feels good to you. But if you're looking for a good starting point, 90 degrees is usually a good place to start. Getting a nice stretch through that back thigh, and then I'm going to release with the right hand. Trying to make sure that I'm off that kneecap before I start. And then imagining a dense gold ball of loving light that is my heart, that is the earth, in the palm of my hand. And then sending that silver, soft, diffuse light looking past my fingertips all the way around that ball to see the back of my own head. Pulling that in. I thought that was the cat. I think it's the wind. A breeze would be nice, wouldn't it? It might blow me over, but it'd still be nice. There's some wind. Pulling that in. And that back foot go. Slide that front heel forward into that hip or split stretch, hip stretch. Now it's more of a leg stretch. A little bit of a hand and arm stretch. I've been slacking on my stretching, so this feels mighty good. I hope to make this more of a regular thing. As hot as it is today, slide that front foot forward, then that leg, step forward with the back foot and hang here in a forward fold again. So the head release, and then I'm going to roll up, checking in with the spine, just letting the hands hang. Nice and slow, one vertebra at a time. Hi. I will be working on my stretching and strengthening space so that I can more actively share and maybe even bring my glasses next time so I can see you. I think that's Megan, and I can't quite make out the other name. It's good to see some of you out there. I hope you're staying sane and supple and soft-hearted and flexible, adapting to this wild ride that we're calling life. It's a lot of change, which causes a lot of stress. Some of you have probably seen me. I'm right here with you, stressing some of the time. I think it's as important as ever to make self-care routine, make letting go, and even ritualized. I'm going to do a little more of that tonight with the full moon. I hope you're doing something for you tonight. It's a good time to check in with yourself, check in with your alignment. I wish you a lovely rest of the weekend, rest of the night. I hope you're loving what you do, doing what you love. Don't forget to give you a little loving attention and listen to you, your heart. Because you know what you need. And you are worth it. Sending you love, light, gratitude. Thank you. Ciao for now.